The City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. This is episode 177. We'll call this one the Heart of Gold. Boy, this is a great day to have an excellent guest. But before I introduce him, I want to introduce my co-host for tonight. We'll have a few that aren't here today, but to me, the ultimate, the most awesome, Christine Kwan. How are you doing tonight?
I'm very good. I'm super excited to have our special guest on today. Yeah, I'm stoked because Marcus is like this. So many people know of him and about him, and I have so many questions for Marcus. So
right, it
I'm
flies.
excited.
He's one of these guys. All right, one of our brothers in the movement that has had his effect on just about everything you see within ethos, within branding, even within the stadium. If you look at the logo, Marcus has been a part of this. He's been a driving force. So I love to call him my friend. We love Marcus, but sometimes the man needs to be told how great he's been doing with us and how much we love him and the work he's put in. Because the other thing about Marcus is he doesn't like to talk it up, but tonight definitely we got to talk it up so everybody kind of can tell a little bit of the story, you know? So here we are. We have a couple of new sponsorships. We have the Heart of Gold community kit that's taken off. We've got everything running into play. And here's Marcus, who I know who's been in the middle of it. So let me, of course, welcome you, Marcus. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm super stoked to be on the show and looking forward to chopping it up. It feels like forever since I've seen you both. So it's nice to share space with y'all.
Yeah. Right. The hugs, the welcomes when we get to the stadium, meetings, all that stuff. Dortmund. I mean,
seriously. Yeah.
You know, and this distance has been a harsh one. That's for sure. It's just beautiful to know that there's a light at the end of this tunnel.
We're so close. We're so close.
Yeah. Follow through will be there. There's no doubt. And so I was going to run it to you. I know a million things are going on. How have you been doing just in this quick, month and a half of lead up going into opening day, into preseason? How's it been?
It's been wild. It's been really, it's been busy, obviously. I think that probably goes without saying. It's been super hectic, to be honest with you. But the reality is all of that is fueled by, the optimism of being back together. I would take, sort of physical stress over and even mental stress over the anxiety of not knowing when we're going to get back. And so, in a way, there's just this light at the end of the tunnel that I think fuels every single thing we do every day.
Right. Yeah. The mission. For sure. That's what keeps us dialed in. I did want to congratulate you on another brilliant kit launch. The Heart of dude. Well done, sir. Well done. It's a change. It's definitely, I think, a welcome change, especially for our away kit process.
Yeah.
How much
you must
of a
be
labor?
exhausted.
Yeah. You have to be.
And you have a child, so you must be.
Yeah. Our tanks are running low. It's been a crazy lift, an amazing group effort. My sort of really the captain of this, I got to take my hat off to Pat, because he has been LAFC Pat for all of you who know him by his IG. Has been really a captain on the ground, coordinating so much of this, and even just from day one developing it, which is a bit of a trip because we've been, really from day one working together. So it's an honor to be working with someone who I really owe even my time at LAFC to. So it's been good, but exhausting. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt a labor of love, correct?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, again, this is we're working in football and we're working in LA. That could come off as such a sort of a cliche answer, but the reality is how more, how much more can you ask for, right? I mean, this is still, and we're building towards, I think, a moment that I think will rival, if not surpass, even our expectations and the feelings that we felt on day one in the stadium against Seattle. So, yeah. And then obviously, and I'm sure we'll dive into this at some point, but like just taking a moment to acknowledge the people who are truly the heroes of our community and the true stewards of what we believe in, I think makes this process so enjoyable, so fulfilling. So yeah.
The community, right? All the way through.
Yeah, I mean the community, and then especially those who are like out there, on the front lines, putting themselves at risk so that we can, see the light at the end of the tunnel. My wife she's an RN at Huntington Hospital, and so I've seen it here personally at home throughout this whole process, and to be that close to someone who is truly on the front lines has been very, very eye-opening, and yeah, hats off to her, hats off to everybody who continues to show up so that we can slowly but surely enjoy life as we knew it. So
yeah, I just want to mention that these comments are popping off. Everybody wants to know what's going on in the mind of Marcus. But don't be nervous. No, this is all but to that point, I definitely feel like we're out of the hamster wheel. Like I felt like last year we were in this sort of like purgatory cycle. Didn't seem like we'd ever get out, and now thanks to all those people that you mentioned, there is a path forward. And thanks to you, laying out the groundwork for this upcoming season. Like you're right, it's going to be so gratifying when we're able to get back into it.
100%.
That is always the mission. I don't think we can get out of that with a dry eye.
Yeah. And that's why we're in this, we're in this for the shared experience. We're in this to experience things in the present moment together. I mean, this is great even to be here on a live show with you all in the present, and knowing that there's a bunch of people, enjoying the show right now, but to share that space with you at the stadium is just going to be another level. So looking forward.
That's some love from Poison Johnny right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, Christine, you had a question for him regarding aesthetics, correct?
I mean, yeah. So I know that you have like a deep soccer history. It's been part of your life for, ever essentially, as a player also. And I just was curious, how you developed your aesthetic over time, and just your personal influences, if there's been any designers or brands that you've really looked up to in terms of their actual look or just their process and philosophy.
Yeah. I think, so a bit of background. I played soccer for a long time, but I also was involved in quite a few board sports. And so skateboarding in particular had a huge influence on me. Even just like music, kind of spending a lot of time listening to punk, going to shows, utility, simplicity. I think, my aesthetic still is like fairly utilitarian and like almost entirely blacked out. And so that definitely has a bit of influence. But I think simplicity, as far as aesthetics are concerned, even when it comes to graphics and whatnot, we tend to sort of avoid anything that's overly ornate and just stick to like, really the basics. And I think that you'll see that even those aesthetic decisions come to life even in our stadium. I was actually talking to somebody about it the other day when we were developing the stadium with Gensler. We were talking through some of the material choices, and I was just obsessed with, and quite a few of us were obsessed with concrete. And the material that is there, let it shine, let it do what it does. Don't cover it, don't hide it, don't throw a veneer over it. And so, yeah, I would say that, like, just honesty in material, honesty in design, and simplicity is kind of the goal.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like master chefs when they've reached a certain level. They really pare back all of the ingredients and they let the actual ingredient shine for itself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that sounds sort of similar. Has it changed at all in terms of COVID? Just because, like, the way that we take pictures and there's not people gathering spaces anymore. Have you had to like sort of change like the images or the messaging or anything like that?
Yeah, so I think and we'll see how successful we are this year. I think this whole design process is super iterative. Excuse me. But one approach that my team and I have been talking a lot about is, what sort of purpose orientation can we have around design? How can we actually not just design for aesthetic's sake, but actually have a reason for making the decisions that we make, so that there's always a bit of a filter in play. And one of the things that we've talked about is like how, with such a stressful year like last year, we should be in service. We are in service to our community, and this has been an anxiety-filled year for a lot of folks. Can design actually reduce anxiety? Right? Is there like a level of simplicity that could be at play, a level of clarity in message, a level of organization that can actually, in such a, especially let's say like on an IG feed or something, that could be extremely noisy. Can we not add to the noise, but can we actually give people a place to stop and breathe? So I think what you'll see from us from a design perspective this year is a lot more space, a lot more negative space, and even simplified graphics. So we'll see if that's successful, but that's the intent.
No, I definitely feel that. Even hearing you articulate that, I absolutely feel that when I see LAFC content and images, and there's like a soothing effect. So I think that that's been successful. It's cool to hear, the reasoning behind it.
Agreed. Last year, a lot of like the whole movie poster aesthetic that we were doing, or comic book really is what it was. It was kind of like an escapist kind of mindset where it's like, let me lose my thought kind of in this fun thing to get kind of out of the grind, right?
Yeah.
And now seems to be that way to bring it back home again is to, well, we're back to the football, we're getting back to normal. And the simplicity is what's comfortable, right?
Yeah. And I will say, for match day posters, you might see something a little different from us this year. We'll still definitely keep it in, on the simple, a fairly simple framework, but it'll be an homage to a medium that we're all comfortable with. I'll just leave it at that. So.
Ooh, I can't wait.
That sounds like a rich hint.
It's super LA homage. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Has there ever been a thought of doing like a collage poster of like all of the week or the match day, like?
Yeah, so we did one in the book. Actually, we did a collage, and then we released that graphic on social around the same time. So, but that was in 2018. So we could definitely run that back and add quite a few more. That would be cool.
Yeah, because I mean, last year the comic book posters were really that. To me, next level. I didn't see anybody in the league doing anything close to what LAFC was doing.
Yeah, shout out to LAFC Jeff and AC NoHo for their brilliance on that. I mean, to week after week to be able to dig in and to continue to develop. Not I think that's the nice thing about it, is they continually grow and they get better and better over time. They don't just kind of figure it out and then stick with the format. So yeah, shout out to those guys.
No doubt. And I think AC, he mentioned, I think on Instagram this week about his efforts, even with the new kit.
Yeah.
That it was kind of a step up for him this year.
Yeah. We've he's been in the mix for quite some time now with us. And he keeps us on our toes. He keeps us, relevant. He's always testing, iterating, trying new things. And so we're honored to have him.
Again, that's the LAFC vibe, isn't it? Always pushing that next thing, building a movement, and yeah, honestly, I think we do have an all-star team. I'm a little
100%.
biased, but I do really
Yeah.
think we do. Yeah. Now, in terms of the design process this year, because of all the delays and push, what did you find to be the most challenging part to getting this kit across the line?
I would say, I'm trying to think of what was the most challenging. I think the reality is like these jerseys have quite a bit of runway, right? We're talking about say three, even sometimes 4 years worth of development, and so there's always this moment where you have a bit of an inflection point as far as how you perceive the story of the jersey. I think the inflection point for this is fairly clear. 3 years ago, we couldn't have expected a year like 2020. And so I think what Heart of Gold meant to us then versus what it means to us now is a really important pivot for us. So really glad we figured that out as a team, and hopefully kind of reimagine and redefine what gold means for our community.
Yeah, I was reading about it on the site in terms of like gold being like tempered, being formed within a environment of tension, and ultimately coming out strong because it is a mineral that is very durable and long lasting. So that's cool because I know in the design process here, you always want to like draw from something that is deep and true about your message and about your audience, and that so true about this past year's so difficult, but can we come out of it stronger? And
yeah. Well, and so if you were to ask us what gold meant to our community in 2018, we probably would have said it represents the aspiration and the success of our city, right? This is a city that is a city of dreamers, a city of people who are grinding and hustling toward their goals. And then, of course, Black represents the strength and texture of our streets. But I think, through 2020, the redefinition that happens, and I think all good organizations, I think all good cultures and clubs, go through defining or redefining moments. For us, redefining gold was to say that, hey, gold is actually reflective of the radiant warmth in our community. Gold is reflective of the resilience of our community, and it's also rare, and so it's reflective of those folks who go above and beyond to give back to their community. And that I think is what I look really forward to, the gold and the the colors and the crest representing more so. We're going to continue to aspire to greatness. But even more important than aspiration is to give back to the community.
Very cool.
No doubt. And LAFC's never backed away from that. Giving back is something that's always been a focus. It's always been a mission back to the original formation of the 3252 to the first ever meeting at Eat Drink Americano, right? Even back to that day, community was something that had to be involved, and the follow through has always been there. Having a kit now that's focused on that as a highlight is just, to me, all the way follow through. Perfect example of it. Seeing you guys at Kaiser Baldwin Park, and all. Pretty cool. Yeah, no doubt about that. Now we do have a couple of new sponsors on the kit. In terms of the aesthetics of this kit, was there any consideration for a new sponsor that would affect the way this one would come out?
No, not exactly. I mean, I think, most of, what you see on the kit was set in stone prior to us bringing the partners on. Excuse me.
Before, right?
Well before. Yeah.
Excellent. So we are, Christine, did you have the next question, or I can keep firing away?
Well, yeah. I mean, so could you talk about the origins of Street by Street, Block by Block? I'm sure that you've talked about it a lot, but we'd love to sort of like go through it again on this podcast. And I would love to hear the story about that.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, so I don't know how much we've talked about street by street, block by block, the true origin. I know, I know Jimmy knows. He's there's actually a song that is the initial reference that I remember him catching me at the Wilshire office and asking me if that was a reference. So I'll leave that to him. If anybody wants to ask him what that song might be, then I'll let him speak to it. But aside from that song reference, that is basically the first two stanzas of that. The notion of street by street, block by block, one by one is just the idea that ultimately, this is a groundswell movement. And if you think about street by street, well, you could have a street like Western that runs all the way from the South Bay to where it ends up in Los Feliz. Block by block is obviously a little bit, it's a smaller distance, and then one by one there's sort of like a 30,000 foot to ground level nature to the notion. And at the end of the day, early on, we were committed to doing things that weren't scalable. We were drinking pints at 5 a.m. at, Yield Ship and talking about football. And there was a handful of us out in the community. Before we knew it, that handful grew. But it was the quality of time that we were spending with people. It wasn't the amount of impressions. And I think that's what really street by street, block by block, one by one means, is having conversations like this with people and focusing on depth over width, if you will.
Yeah. Whenever I hear street by street, block by block, one of the first images I get in my mind is just seeing you and Pat at like one of these small indoor soccer facilities around greater Los Angeles area. And, Los Angeles is made up of so many little streets and avenues and alleyways, and there's so many hidden places to play and so many informal places to play. And yeah, that was the first time I saw Pat. He was emceeing one of your early like 5v5 tournaments, and I was like, who's this curly hair guy talking about whatever? And then I don't know if you remember, Marcus, but I've actually played against you in a 5v5 match.
Oh no, I can't apologize in advance because we played. It's been quite a while, but retrospectively, if anyone's played against me, I'm a different person on the pitch. I'm not a good person.
It's a blanket public apology for
anyone. It literally is.
Played.
I'm embarrassed anytime someone says, "Oh yeah, I played with you at so and so." I'm like, "Oh no, that's not good."
You're famous in my mind though, because before we knew who you were, like we were like, "Who is that tall dude?" Like.
That really likes 50-50 balls. Yeah.
That goes in strong on the 50-50 balls. Yeah.
Like you better be braced, because otherwise you're going to lose something. Yeah. I loved, honestly, Marcus, I love the way you do play because it's honest to the game. Not holding back. You're not thinking about what's happening off the pitch. You're in the game, in the moment, and that's how it's supposed to be played. I know. I remember you'd play Black Army in games, and it could get pretty chippy, but in a sporting mindset. So at the end of the day, everybody's all hugs, but dude, no letting up. It's perfect, man.
You actually like belong like in the previous generations where people were just like going at it, like the Maradona times. You need to play in Italy during that time, basically.
I'm honored. I definitely what I lack in maybe grace or finesse, I definitely I don't know if I make up for it, but I definitely put it all out there in passion. Yeah, maybe brutal passion. Yeah, so
channeling Gattuso just a smidge.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it's a good thing. I know we included a picture of you playing at our first. I think that's the first 110 supporter cup there.
Yeah.
Right, all the way back to the Intactics day.
Totally.
Right, that's where the picture was from. It was from Intactics.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the introduction to Marcus football and looking back.
Yeah, I noticed LAFC Stadium Benny on there as well. We had the whole squad out for that. That was super fun. I actually remember, who was it that took somebody took okay, I'm not even going to get into that story. Somebody on my team took a pretty hard shot, went down, and there's a picture of me like focused on the game and them keeled over, just like holding on to their privates, like just hoping that I'm going to turn to them and give them pity. And I'm just like, get up. And I just, I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah.
Drag them across the field.
Yeah.
You're going with me.
When things clear up, are you going to get back on the field?
I'd like to. I thought before this I'd kind of hung up my boots. But I'd like to. I definitely, more so now than ever, want to get back on the pitch.
Okay, can I ask you? I hope that you can answer this question, but your best 5-a-side players from LAFC, if you were a player manager, who would you pick?
Best 5-a-side.
Yeah.
Player manager.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. No offense to anybody that's not on this list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that out there. I'm gonna go. Robbie Gomez, Yuli Roman, Will Walsh. I'm gonna throw Pat on there for sure. And then, I mean, if I could reach back into the archives, I'd have to say Sebi, Sebastian, but he's moved on to new things. So I don't know if I can count him on that squad. But
I'd say you could, because he was there for some of the most competitive matches by far. I know he's true blue now, right?
Yeah.
But Seabass legit was holding it down every match.
Yeah.
So,
Larry Friedman's and Benchy. Would he be on your list, or
Larry Friedman and Benchy? Yeah, I think you've got at least Friedman in the box, because in a former life he was a keeper. You could ask him about the.
He was? Oh my God!
This is a long time ago. This is Friedman's on here. I was gonna say, okay,
yeah,
no, Larry.
Said Benchy.
Larry, no, you're on the squad, and
he's like, now that I know you're listening, you're definitely on the squad.
Yeah, you definitely made the cut. I'm trying to think of the Chicago team that he played for. I apologize for not being able to remember the name of the squad. But I see Chi more as a manager, first of all, because he's the best dressed person out there. When he does manage, his style, he has, sort of the proper long European coat. And when you get him in the huddle, he is a fierce coach. So I kind of see him as more of a coach manager, but he's good on the pitch too. So
okay, so Benchy's assistant coach. You're the head coach / Are you a forward?
No, I'm somewhere more just kind of on the bench, kind of, like you said, 70s style play. Probably slightly hungover, hanging out on the bench, and if you're really desperate, you can put me in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. He's going to be that shutdown midfielder that just takes a couple of nicks off the ankle for the playmaker on the other side.
I'm your super sub. I'm your added time guy.
Yes.
You need that goal in the dying embers, then put me in. Yeah. I don't have the gas tank anymore, so. Yeah.
Right. Super sub life is good, man. I'm just going to tell you that.
It's great.
I'm good at being super sub. My knee's good for 20 minutes. I'm in on that.
Yep. A dedicated, solid 20 minutes.
Right.
I was going to say, we played a game before shutdown. We had a bit of a scrimmage at Cal State, and I remember running for maybe 15 minutes and being completely gassed and ready to sub out and limping off to the side. And then realizing once I got over there that I had been on the pitch for 15 minutes. And I think that's actually the last time I laced up my boots. I think at that point I realized I was, my days were probably numbered on the pitch.
That's fine. I mean, 15 minutes is a long time. If you play 5-a-side, you can play for 5 minutes at a time.
That's
So you're
super
good.
generous.
I want to
Thank you,
see you
Christine.
back on the pitch, basically, is what I'm saying.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen for sure.
Yeah, definitely need a Black Army showdown with the front office.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I don't know if we ever got our rematch because last time I remember you beat us
in the Arts District.
In the Arts District at the Container Yard.
Yep.
And see, I still remember this. I haven't forgotten, and we gotta make that happen at some point because a rematch is necessary.
Right. We need to find, and then Christine can definitely give us the play-by-play and have a rundown for us there. I know Benchy has to be on the team because let's be honest, the cleanest kits will be with whoever has Benchy on the side.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Count on it.
Yeah. The rule. Dude, no, it was always been fun with the games. I look forward to those days where we can all kick it around 32-52. I mean, that one day at the stadium was a dream come true.
Yeah.
Again, just juggling the ball around with everybody. We'll get back to it. It'll happen, guys. It's just a matter of time.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to jerseys, but I did want to ask a few more if you're cool with it.
Of course.
I did want to ask, what was your all-time favorite kit that was developed for LAFC?
All-time favorite kit. I am a sucker just for nostalgia. It's funny to call it nostalgia with such a young history, but I really, for me, season 1 home, inaugural home, is something truly special. From a technical standpoint, you have all the makings of, I think personally, a great jersey. The fabric is an engineered fabric, so it's I'm going to get a little nerdy here. It's not sublimated, so it's not a printed stock fabric. It's literally engineered, so the material itself, the sheen and the detail is in the material substrate. So that to me is like the detail. If you go back, that's why when you see it maybe from afar, it looks like a fairly lean black jersey, but when you look up close, you really can tell the difference. So year one was special.
Can't blame you for that. To be honest, that was probably my favorite because of the simplicity of it. Yeah. Well, at the same time, it did have a good fit and finish where I'm still wearing it today more than probably any of my other kits because it just fits a little differently. Yeah, it does. There's something about it.
How about you, Christine? Right as you take a sip.
What's my favorite?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm really, even though I haven't gotten my hands on it, I'm really excited for this new community kit.
Awesome.
I think it looks really nice. And when you talked about how like the aesthetic is about like not adding noise, but like bringing calm, I find it very calming to look at. And maybe it's because I've read about it too, but I'm looking forward to that. So it's going to be my new favorite.
Mine too. I would literally say, I would say this year's and our first year home are my two favorite kits in our history. So yeah.
Nice.
Love it. And I will say, I just want to compliment you guys from actually going to this linen color rather than a white or a gray, simply because nobody in the league is really doing this. And to me, white, I think I told you this from day one. I never want to see us wearing white because another team wears that color. That's their primary. Why would we even bother? Leave it in the bin, right? And do something better. And I don't care what they do. This away kit, and honestly, I hope we wear it at home too because it just looks good, dude. With numbers, with everything on the back, it's it's complete, no doubt.
Awesome.
I have a question. Where did you guys shoot the photos where it looks like there's like some pipes behind the players? Is that in the basement of some place?
It is. It's not in the basement. It's in the it's in the heart of the North End, actually.
Really?
So
cool.
Yeah. That's the demountable structures, and so that all that metal you see is actually the players standing under the North End. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
I thought it looked familiar.
Yeah.
I know Joseph knows like probably every nook and cranny of the stadium.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially trying to fit stuff through for tifos and stuff. We've been in every little corner of that place, just working it through.
And then the other ones that you saw that have sort of a fluorescent taped light and the concrete wall, those are in the southwest tunnel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one that nobody ever
Very nice.
seems to go into, right?
Yeah. It's a pretty cool little hangout. It's one of my favorite kind of quiet corners, especially when the stadium's really loud, because you can find a bit of peace from the traffic, but you can hear everything. It's amplified. So yeah.
Cool.
Poison Johnny is right. It is behind the north end, as it should be, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
In the heart.
Well, I was wondering about something else that you've designed, and I was wondering if you could take me through this design process of you creating the office championship belts and the Lucia masks.
Yes. Yeah, did Larry cue this up? I feel like he must have submitted
Larry?
that.
No,
Yeah. Because
I mean,
we really owe the belts and the masks to his genius and his passion for wrestling. But that goes back to early days Wilshire office. I'm trying to remember how we came up with how we chose to do a lucha mask, but it just obviously seems appropriate. I think it may have even been a trip to Plaza Olvera, and one of the vendors there probably seeing Mascara stand or something like that. But the pattern, as a matter of fact, we had, and I don't know the particular image that you might be referencing, but actually had the wings as eyebrows, which I thought was pretty rad.
you're so serious about this right now.
Yeah, no, I know. This okay. So there's like my neuroses around Art Deco patterns and the organization of Art Deco patterns, so that it instead, because oftentimes they're chevrons, right? And so it could either be oriented like a V or like an A, but because we have wings, they should be a V, like flying V. So like even year one inaugural kit, if you look at it, that pattern isn't an A, which is like the original reference is like a Dutch national jersey. That pattern actually, the peaks went up, but on this one they actually do the opposite. So it's just a constant reference to like wings, to flight. It's I nerd out on this kind of stuff. So
no, it just sounds like you guys have the most amazing office, because you guys are just like doing this kind of stuff all day in addition to actual work. But
it's the fun stuff for sure.
Back before COVID, what was like a typical day at work like for you? Like if you could just start from the time that you wake up, like what do you actually do as the VP of creative and branding content?
It really depends on the day. Match days are very different than non-match related days. I do spend quite a bit of day in the morning just kind of setting up my day, checking emails, checking in with my team, managing any maybe immediate requests. Excuse me. Oftentimes, big fun part of this job too is like, where's the day going to take you? Oftentimes we're in the field, we're, driving out to Chino to shoot. We're, in the Valley where we really get to cover ground. So, I actually love, as much as I love being in the office, I also love hitting the road. Anything campaign oriented, is it going to take us downtown? Are we shooting, new product? Are we going to Santee Alley to find, interesting backdrops? Like, it's just every day is different, and it keeps it fresh and fun. So
sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. And obviously LA is such like a rich place to draw inspiration from. Do you have like some habits during the day? Like, do you finish your day like reading magazines, or do you like wandering in certain areas just to draw new inspiration? And I think I saw somebody in the comments ask, like, if you're looking for a new angle, a design angle for the club, how do you do that? Or like, where do you turn to?
Yeah. Well, so to your first question around, I guess Do I like to get lost in LA? Yes, I do
Mhm.
love to like literally go downtown, park my car, walk around. Occasionally I take like decompression days where I'll just go to the Arts District or go to Santee Alley and just
Mm.
with no real aim, just be out there, present in the community, and kind of
Mhm.
soaking up the everything that we love, the sights and sounds of what make LAFC special. I think we try to
Yeah.
translate a lot of those sort of sensory elements in the videos that we do.
Mhm.
Those little homages that make I hope make our content feel truly LA. But then to how do we, if we're looking to make a bit of an adjustment or a pivot, how do we do
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
I think it's always important to start with the why, start with the purpose.
Mm.
There's this really great book called Start with Why by Simon Sinek, and I think that
Mhm.
has had a bit of a marked impression on us. There's also a TED Talk if you want the shorter version.
Mm.
It's really great, but basically the notion is you have to start with the question why. You start with your purpose orientation, and then let
Mhm.
that inform everything else. So, for instance, with the pivot in our aesthetic this year, the why
Mhm.
was, well, how can we, how do we leverage design to actually help our community?
Mhm.
Um, and the why is, well, we can actually reduce anxiety. At
Mm.
least that's the intention, right? Our goal is to reduce anxiety with the information that we put out there and with
Yeah.
the aesthetic that we put out there. And then once you've kind of set that, then it's easy to filter. It's like, well, does this design reference reduce anxiety or does it
Mhm.
create anxiety? And then before you know it, you've got like 50 things on a board, and you
Yeah.
can kind of say, okay, this works, this doesn't. And then you boil down the palette and then we run it. And
Right. Right.
yeah, yeah.
Do you ever feel pressure, um, just in terms of knowing that, in a sense, like the public is your client, you know what I mean? And fans and supporters are your client, and a huge responsibility. I guess you are like the process and everybody in your staff are very connected to the community.
Mhm.
But does that ever factor into your mind as like, how can we, just really please the public or get a positive response? Or what do you define as like a successful end product?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an appropriate level of pressure or
Mhm.
responsibility, more appropriately.
Yeah.
But I think at our best, we're so and when we're truly doing it right, we're so inclusive of our community and
Mhm.
of our supporter base and of our fan base that it's really just a reflection. It's not as much of us trying to translate the culture as it is literally the
Mm.
culture making the decisions,
Mm.
right? And
Mhm.
so we don't have to work in silo to try to, you know, to figure out or to, ideate what people want. Just tell us what you want, you know?
Right.
And yeah, I think that's when we're truly at our best. And I think that's a core of how this organization, how this club was formed. And it's definitely going to be what keeps us on track for many years to come.
Absolutely. And you can feel the authenticity, I think, when the process is like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, from the 32, I'll just say from the 32-52's perspective, being in that with you, a lot that we had talked about year one, we've kind of seen it play through and show up down the line.
Yeah.
And definitely the give and take between the community and the club. You see it in the marketing, you see it in the branding. It's held true. So
Well, and to that, we have a responsibility to continue. We should never arrive to a place where we're settled in what we've done. We're resting on any laurels. I think that there's still so much blue ocean opportunity in front of us all with this.
mhm.
And in order to truly create the best version of our club that we can together, we have to
Mhm.
continue to like lean into those principles and those values that have gotten us this far. So hope to do a lot more and hope we all
Mm.
keep each other accountable to that.
Nice.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's going to happen. And of course, the creativity side of things, once we're back at the bank,
Yeah.
it's almost a given. All of a sudden, you see the madness going on within stadium when we go on the away days, because that definitely has its effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
The
so
amount
many.
of amazing, sorry, but the amount of
Yeah.
amazing, like, fan generated, supporter generated ideas, the amount of like incredible, on a match day shirts I'm going to see at FanFest that I'm like, dude, that's wish we did that, like, or pins
Right?
and trapos, two sticks. Like,
Mm,
we're surrounded by creativity, and it's
very
just,
true.
it's so valuable
Mm.
to our process to be around so many creative people. So
Yeah.
We are lucky being in this town, aren't we?
yeah.
We really are. All right. So we're going to talk something about a doll, Christine, right? You were mentioning something about a doll.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's this item that it's almost like urban lore at this point. It's one of the most difficult LAFC merchandise items to find, and it's called Little Rich, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering what your role was in the action figure, Little Rich.
The little Rico. Yeah, that's really hats off to LAFC Larry and Binja. That's really their mad genius. As a matter of fact, I think the first time that that came up was actually in front of Signal Iduna. I remember, I don't know if it was on the match day or if we were taking a tour, but somehow the notion of a Rich action figure, because Rich is, I mean, he's so larger than life. It only is appropriate that he has, an action figure with, I think he's got a cell phone. He's got, at the time we were rocking like those boosts, the red, Adidas boosts.
Yeah.
And I remember trying to actually convince him to record some wild lines for me so that we could put him in the doll. And like, he was so confused as to why I was having him say these like iconic Rich lines. And I was like, no, just trust me on this one. So if anything, I think, hats off to Benchy for, and Larry, I think it was Larry's idea, Benchy with the connect, and then really all the little details to the doll. And then you could probably throw the action lines. I'm responsible for those. So
Very nice.
I
True
mean,
collaboration.
Dude, this look, right? That point that he always gives.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's the yes,
the yes point. It had to be probably on the tour because he's doing a lot of this, right?
Yeah,
and it kind of and the jacket. It's this jacket, right? I mean, that was
that's it.
Oh yeah, it is it.
That's the one. That was definitely, it caught the vibe. And what I love best is Rich loved it.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
all the way down.
And so Rich actually, lesser known maybe fact about Rich, he spent some time in professional boxing. And so, boxers, the pose is so often the fist, right? It's like this kind of thing. And so that was his world for a while. But then we're not, I mean, we're pretty, charged, and especially in serious heated games, pretty aggressive, but it's never like put up your fist. So it's like, I think the index finger just comes out and makes it like a little bit more accessible,
Less intimidating and more like, hey.
Bringing attention to you rather than fighting you.
Yeah, seriously. Shout out to LAFC Rich.
We love you, Rich. No doubt.
Yeah, seriously.
I would like to know who actually owns one of these dolls. Do you?
Oh, no. I don't own a Little Rich, LAFC Rich. So we gifted them out on I believe quarterly basis at the club. And so in order to earn that, you had to really go above and beyond the call of action. And you were rewarded that doll. So
nice.
Yeah. I don't know what that says about my performance, Larry. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but I was fortunate enough to contribute to the process. So yeah.
It was a hit, no
Nice.
doubt about that. I think it's
Yeah.
one of those coveted things. If that thing shows up again, everybody's gonna want it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
You can
Oh.
buy it on StockX. Yeah.
Boom. They're like the Sambas, right?
Yeah.
The rarest thing in the world. I was gonna ask you, since I know we just hit the anniversary of the San Jose invasion.
Yeah.
What was your favorite away day?
I think my immediate thought is the first ever match, Seattle.
Yes.
And I think just the anticipation of that, there was a lot of nerves, at least for me, a lot of us.
Mhm.
It was. I remember this sort of powder keg moment where we had marched in. Again, this is our first march. I mean, we'd obviously had a few marches at the stadium, but like, on an actual match day, together, unified, marching from the bar that we were at to the stadium in early, making our rounds, fairly large stadium. So getting into the stadium on the concourse, zigzag. And then at some point we end up in this holding sort of cell. It's basically a tunnel or vomitory, and it's dark. I mean, it's completely pitch black in here. And you can see kind of pin drops of light poking through where they're going to open us up to the pitch. And my nerves, everyone's nerves, the tension was like really palpable. And we were just chanting. We had been chanting for a while, but at one point it went completely quiet. And then we started chanting again and building and building. And I remember just like literally bursting out in tears because it was everything that we had worked for all of those years, all of the doubters, all of the, this market is oversaturated, all of the, your fans are bandwagon fans. It was everything, all the adversity that we had faced up to that point. And here we were together showing up, probably like 3 hours early together in this and just laying everything out. And I remember just like welling up and just losing it. And that to me made that trip, whether we won, whether we lost, like being together on the road and feeling like we had finally arrived it was worth every single, obstacle before that. And then sure enough, we took the game and, the beers went flying and the rest is history.
Dude, even a sleet storm at halftime, which was hilarious.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Totally.
Weirdest thing. But dude, I think that tunnel going up into that mix, and it just kept going and kept going, and we just kept getting louder the farther it went. You're like, when is this thing gonna end? And just boom, explodes. We take over sections I don't even think they intended us to take over because the energy was there, the room was there, and then honestly, I don't think we heard their supporters much at all from our end. It was the story, and gosh, getting me up to it, man. I'm like, so beautiful. Really
there's been so many good ones though since us invading Portland on, I think it was our last when they were reopening. That was pretty amazing.
It was their opening day at the newly designed stadium.
Kind of spoiled that one for them. That was pretty rad. Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Yeah. So
I remember they put us in that again, another tunnel waiting forever and ever and ever to break through. And it's like, are they tiring us out? What is this?
Yeah. That definitely felt like a little bit of mind games, but we were louder than them the whole game, and we took that one too.
Yeah, completely outnumbered, but never outsung.
That's it.
It's for sure. Yeah. For sure. I was going to ask you, because there are these moments, right, in the building of this club. While it was being built, or was there ever a moment where you're like, this isn't typical to what a team would do joining this league? Like, okay, this is different. This is not going to be your regular old MLS club.
Well, I don't really have a ton of context there because this is the first, team I've worked for. But I definitely think, and hats off to our ownership group, hats off to our executive team who, entrusted some of us with very, say little experience in sports prior, to help develop the club. And so, we definitely knew we were doing things different. We set ourselves up fairly early as a challenger, club. That's really in our DNA. But it's hard to say, this isn't typical of a team because I didn't really have the history prior. But we knew we wanted to be disruptive. All good organizations, all good clubs, worth their grain of salt, are willing to shake stuff up. So
Awesome. And then I'll say, what is your most euphoric moment? Or I say maybe post match. What was your favorite moment?
Yeah, supporter shield, locker room. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be there that night either. That was it was a little different.
I have some snaps of you for sure, just laying it all out. As a matter of fact, so I've got this. I love these little Ricoh cameras, fixed lens, nothing wild, and 18 mil, so you really have to get up close. And I've taken those cameras around the world with me. That one, I committed that camera that night. I knew it was probably the last time that camera was going to work because the amount of beer and champagne that was flying around. But I've got a couple of photos of you just completely drenched. The shield.
I kid you not. I have never been that soaked ever in regular clothing.
Yeah.
Ever. And I remember my wife and the kids were at the game, and I'm like, I gotta go. I don't know what I'm getting into, but they want me to go present the shield to the team.
Yeah.
As a part of the crew. And we thought it was going to be an in and out situation.
Yeah.
And instead it was you're in. And it then became like a swimming contest, you could say.
Yeah. And I think again, we've always talked about it, obviously, and we've been about it, but we've, definitely talked about it from day one, this notion of, everyone, on the same level. That was one of those moments that really crystallized that. One of the many moments, but moments that I think even crystallized that for me. Yeah.
Agreed. There is no barrier between club and supporter. There just isn't. And, I can reach out to you, to Rich, to anybody at any time. And it's not a conversation of, robotic, hey, I have no, it's dude, how are you doing?
Yeah.
It's this conversation, not I'm talking to the president of the club. I don't think, we were talking about your position, and I'm like, honestly, I can't tell you off the top of my head what Marcus's position is because I've never talked to him that way or ever dealt that way. So it's Marcus, it's Rich, it's Larry, and that's just how we know you guys. Never gonna have.
Well, and the thing is, we're all invested in this, right? We're all invested and I think we're all contributors to it. And so your level of, throw titles out the window, throw, the notions of, the difference between, someone in the front office or someone in the stands. I think you invest what you want into this, and you are going to reap the rewards of how much you're willing to invest in that. And I think that is really, at the end of the day, all that matters. There have been so many people in our community that have contributed so much to our culture, that goes so far beyond any title, so much that's non-optical, so much that is done behind the scenes, so much blood, sweat, and tears. We aren't who we are if it isn't for the investment of so many, selfless people. So at the end of the day, we're all in this together, and we're all, friends. So it's been something else.
It's a brotherhood. It's a family. When they say our, they really do mean our. It's our club.
That's it. Yeah, should be that way. So
community kit, kind of just one of those things that shows it,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Now, normally I would save like questions and comments for end of show, but I gotta be honest. I think we're in this position right now. Rather than jumping into news, I'd rather have you answer some things that some supporters, some fans have said in the comments already. Because I think really this would be the best time to do it. I don't know.
Let's do it.
Let's run for it. So I'll throw some fun ones up there. So Poison Johnny says, Houston game or Supporter Shield winning, which one was wetter?
You know what? It's gotta be Supporter Shield for sure. I mean, Houston Rain game was, and again, that's like one of the most iconic. I think it's definitely stickier. The Supporter Shield. I remember getting to my car just thinking, God, I just got to get home. I just got to get home without getting stopped. I haven't literally had maybe a sip of champagne, but like no one's like, if I get pulled over, this is not going to be good. This whole car stinks just because I'm soaked head to toe in champagne. So yeah. Or even thinking about, Walker Zimmerman doing belly slides, like slip and slide through the locker room. That's just iconic, it was messy. So.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, he was diving through who did he drive?
Yeah,
our goalkeeper at the time.
Yeah, exactly. And then he got up and he ran into the press room.
Yes, and we were walking out at that time.
He did a tour. Yeah, that was a pretty epic moment.
Took the shield into the presser, and then they were spraying champagne on the press.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was so irreverent, so perfect. Yeah, great question, Johnny.
Well done, sir. And then I wanted to bring up Victor's comment right here, and he says the dichotomy created between us and the MLS and our neighbors by Marcus and his team is legitimate. We're so different from everyone, and the honesty of your inspiration is evident in what you bring. I had to bring that one up. Victor, you are correct, sir.
Thank you.
Pee-wee says the streets are behind Marcus. I like this one from Pee-wee. That beard, though.
It's getting there, huh? It's
Dude,
getting there.
Right?
Yeah.
I think you're going to be competing with me soon.
Dude, not even. That's legendary. That's
the beards of LAFC.
Yeah.
New calendar, right?
Zip code. Yeah.
Calendar. Your LAFC beard calendar. I love it.
Dude, right?
Yeah.
It's so going to happen. Or we're going to get a new sponsorship related to beard conditioning.
Yes.
Just because I said it right. There we go. All right, I like this one from Brennan. Brennan says, Marcus, what's your all-time favorite kit from around the world?
I would have to say there's a few. Can I do a few? I'm going to do a few. Nyjah, the Nyjah kit that we saw in the last World Cup. I really like PSG gold recently with the hits. I thought that was super clean, very wearable. And then Bruised Banana, original Bruised Banana Arsenal with the Adidas original. It's just I love. There's something to like an extremely simple kit. I think my inclinations are there, but at the same time, there's something really fun about a kit that is absolutely bold and lays it all out there. And sometimes, like when that Bruised Banana kit came out, it was not a fan favorite, but now retrospectively, it's absolutely one of the most iconic kits in world football. So
yeah, 90s away kits, especially in England, are definitely a story.
Yeah.
They almost look like goalkeeper kits, like completely nothing to do with team colors, nothing new. It's we don't want to look the same, right?
Yeah. So, trying all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, why not, right? I mean, even Seattle with their psychedelic kit lately is kind of vibing off of that, right?
Yeah, the Hendrix vibes, Purple Haze,
so,
pretty cool.
Marcus, if you were to say what club was your favorite outside of LAFC, what would you say?
Barcelona.
There it is.
Yeah, Barcelona, Arsenal. Yeah,
Dude,
but I gotta throw out a shout out. Portsmouth, play at Pompey. That's that has roots, family roots. So gotta stay true to that.
Right. I'm praying for them to move back up. I know Eisner is now one of the owners, and they're doing something with it. As a kid, I really loved the hard hard-nosed play from that side.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was one that you couldn't not like them, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's Portsmouth, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Seaport town, super blue collar, super rough scramble streets. Like the play really matched and mimicked the city, the culture. So yeah.
Right. They, you know, if anybody deserves to have their team move back up into the mix, it's Pompey fans. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was going to throw a couple more in here. This is a crazy one. You don't have to answer it, but we're going to bring it up because I want one too. From Burke Fournier, when will we get a third jersey?
That is a good question, and I don't know. But I think we deserve one. I'd love one. So
nice.
Yeah.
Agreed. I can't wait to see it. We do get these random ones that everyone else wears too, but something unique to us that'll be a little different. I know it's on the way, but of course these times kind of limit these things, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. I know we saw country by country from Brendan. I'm gonna keep moving through. Brendan's trolling me right now with this comment right here about North Macedonia.
Serious upset, right? Was
You know what?
2-1?
They earned it. Germany, they bottled this match late.
Yeah.
And they got what they deserve for an easy miss, right? You take your chances. Like it's that simple. So congrats to North Macedonia on the day and Armenia for leading the group because nobody expected that.
Yeah. That's the football stories. You know, I mean that's the when sports are the most exciting, you know. I think I mean that's the most important game in the history of that country as far as so that's pretty amazing. I'm super stoked for them. So
right, I'm annoyed by it, but sometimes
you are. You definitely are.
I am.
Yeah,
but and if it finds a way to get Mueller back into the squad, I'm okay with it, just for leadership purposes, guys.
Yeah.
I know technical and speed and all that may be a different story for him with the national team, but just having a leader might be a good thing. Just
somebody in that locker room, maybe. Yeah.
Right. Wake up, guys. I like Al Hopkins' idea here. I'm all for it. We need that in a comic book to buy. He's talking about all the comic book covers.
Yeah.
Kind of like a
I like that.
foldable read. I like that.
We might have to run some of those back, and maybe there's something that we can create, even if it's just digital. I think that'd be fun.
Nice. And then Victor had an interesting one here. Was the aesthetic from jerseys from the 70s there getting those West German or even East German club vibes?
For which kit?
I think it's probably the new ringer that's come out.
Yeah. I mean, I would say if you're referencing sort of the cut and sew, I'd say you're pretty dead on with the sleeves and the neck. For sure. I think it's a bit of a throwback. So yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I have the Germany home kit right now, and I gotta say, looking at the two, the cut's probably exactly the same.
Yeah,
color scheme's different, but the cut looks identical. Ringer. And that's probably the nicest fitting kit I've ever had. So
yeah,
good.
They're comfy.
Yeah, that AirNet vibe's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, they're always coming up with something new as far as the tech on the tech. Make it more comfortable for the players, make it more breathable. So yeah,
agreed, totally. And then Poison Johnny, I think we answered this a bit, was how do you search for a new angle within LAFC? We kind of covered that a bit.
Yeah. I mean, unless if there's another angle to that question. But I think we're super purpose oriented. I don't think that we need to reinvent ourselves for the sake of doing it. I think consistency in message, consistency in offering, and consistency in translation of our culture and in our people is really important. So I think there are new ways to freshen that up. Obviously, topically we take what's relevant to us right now and try to translate that. But a little reference to my Barca love, but Més que un club. Is that something that needs to be reinvented or reimagined? And I think that we have so many special elements to our culture, so many special messages that I hope continue to resonate for years to come.
Agreed. We have our culture. It's ours.
Yeah.
It's best to build off of it rather than look for something completely different.
Yeah.
I'm happy where we're at. Aren't you guys? It's pure. Perfect. I like this from Al. He says flex on the league, and I'll just bring that up. Flex. What is your impression so far of our new sponsor?
Yeah, I've actually am one of the few people who've actually had the fortune and opportunity to play with the power tools a bit, and they scream. I mean, they are no joke. So I'm pretty excited. I think there are a lot of people in the city of LA who put food on their table with the tools that they use, and their convictions around offering tools that compete and outperform the competition. I think it should be pretty accurate. I'm no working professional in that, so time will tell. But I'm pretty excited to see what we have in store to do together, and I'm definitely looking forward to putting mine to use. So I got a impact driver, a circular saw, and reciprocating, which is perfect because I actually just burnt the motor out in my reciprocating saw. So
Nice.
perfect timing. Yeah.
From the little bit I got from these guys, it's been legit. I know one of the guys that's pretty much running the show here in the States, that's helping in the process, that's huge in it, is already a season ticket holder with us, and he was before the sponsorship even happened. So that says something if they've already believed in a club before.
They're fully on board. They fully believe in the culture. They are a culture first organization themselves, which I think is really important. Obviously, metrics are important, but to start with the qualitative, to start with the connection is super valuable, and they're committed to that. So I'm stoked to see what we can do together. So
kudos for the color match too, right?
Yeah, so clean. Yeah.
Good on them, because I know normally their logo would be white anyway. So good switch. This is one more of a football. I'll throw it out there. Usually I'd throw this later, but I'm gonna throw it. It's Heya BVB MS. Thoughts on opening MLS game versus Austin?
We're gonna win.
Right?
We're gonna take it. Yeah, it's gonna be a great return. And I'm not a prediction kind of guy, so I'll stay away from that. But I'm confident that we'll have a good show. So looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I think we're ready. I think we're chomping at the bit, and we're angry after last year. So
yeah.
Ooh, here's a familiar face asking a question. Check this one out. This is from none other than Jason, the LAFC Punk Ariano. I'm going to say it again, the LAFC Punk Ariano.
My dude.
After what was going down this week. Marcus, are you going to bring back the IG Live?
Oh, putting me on the spot. Yeah. It's been a while. I'd say probably pretty rusty at this point. But it was a lot of fun. It was really fun when we did do it. I think we were definitely seeing a lot of activity in that space at the time, and it was fun to try something completely new, step outside of my comfort zone. I'm, as many of you know, prefer being behind the camera. So it was there's a learning curve to it, but it was fun to stretch my wings a little bit and give it a go. But maybe Punk, maybe Jason, if you hop on live and you want to hop on with me, maybe we can do that. Otherwise, I probably not.
Oh man, could you imagine comparing the record collections between you two?
Oh, he's got me beat for sure.
But the taste in music will be on point.
Yeah,
I had fun checking out the Bob Marley doc again today because I couldn't.
Oh, rad! Yeah, that was
dude. So well done, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, you and Mark. Yeah, it's top
Thank
notch.
You.
Top
Thank
notch.
You.
See, I'm messing with him again. Let me see. I've got. Oh, this is a funny one from Victor. He asks, Harry Redknapp over Pep Guardiola?
Oh, dude, come on. That's not fair. So, Pep for sure, but I get the Harry Redknapp Pompey call. So, but I'd Pep, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Have you seen Take the Ball, Pass the Ball on Netflix?
No, haven't watched it
Okay,
yet.
so that's about Pep's entry into Barcelona and his time with them,
Yeah.
interviewing all of the players, staff, and including Pep at the very end of it. All in their own language, like legit.
Access.
Yeah, you got to see it. I mean, they got to a point where I can't remember which player it was, but he had a coffee table in front of him, and he just started pulling out coasters and cups, and he goes, "Let me show you how we do this."
Yeah,
Like
I
that
love
good.
it. I love it.
You'll probably lose your mind as a Barcelona fan, and just honestly, just enjoying what they do because it is beautiful.
Yeah. It's a special style of play, and I look forward to hopefully seeing our side get back to that style. I think we've got a lot of great academy prospects and a lot of young talent coming up, and hopefully we can find our voice again on the pitch, because we've been wandering in the desert a bit. So hopefully we can get back to our old style of play.
It's hard to change the guard.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah. So we'll see.
They'll get back to it. It's Barcelona. There's no question. I'm going to actually close this portion out from a familiar face here. It's going to be fun for you. None other than Casey Sosa asks, what Marcus fave bar in LBCs? What's your favorite bar in the LBC, sir?
Oh, that's easy. It's Joe Jost on Anaheim. It's, if you haven't been there, in my opinion, I've been in a lot of great sports bars in my life. It's got to be the top. It's the oldest bar in Long Beach. It's historically like this of extremely traditional longshoreman bar. We're obviously a seaport city, and the patina in that place, the history is on the walls. It's a family-owned bar for almost a century at this point. Wow. And not much has changed since when it first opened. There is a phone booth in there, and it has been converted to a cell phone booth. So if you want to use your cell phone, you got to go in the booth. It's a place where people connect over pints, and they're just great folks. As a matter of fact, just a little anecdote, like they, the guy, the median age at the bar, you can tell these folks have been going there for a very long time, but probably like, mid to late 60s. So, in and up. So the stories and the history is there, but they're pulling the ear of the bartender behind the bar who they've known since, he or she was, running around, who's the kid of the father, who's the son of the creator. So it's just a real family oriented bar, and the pours are large. So yeah,
that helps.
And now that means I have to find a way there at one point or another.
You got it. It's the best. Great. I try to catch every World Series. You can usually find me trying to pony my way up to the bar in there, because it's one of the funnest places to watch really any sports.
Do they show LAFC games?
You know what? That's a good question. I'm never actually there when we're playing, so I've never even really brought it up. But I could ask. I should definitely make that happen.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about bars, now it just came to mind. Go-to pint. If you're gonna get a pint, what are you gonna go with?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely circumstantial. If it's there, it's got to be. If it's got to be a Shinerbach. Yeah, and they've got these icy, kind of goblet-sized pints. They're massive. They're not pints. It's probably a pint and a half, 2 pints. But if I'm just picking up a 6-pack at home, it's probably going to be Leffe. It's like a Belgian blonde. Yeah. Very drinkable. Some Belgian beer is a little too complex, a little just too much going on. You have one and you're kind of over it. Leffe is I can definitely, handle a few without being overwhelmed with their complexity. So
there we are. We are. And now you bringing up Shiner, and I'm just like, I got to find my way to Austin this year.
Yeah.
Get closer to the brewery and find a way to escape to go check out Shiner and do it,
Yeah.
Good stuff. If you guys don't know about Shiner, which should be hard not to, you've got to check it out. Amazing stuff. That is it for the questions so far. At this point, we pretty much transition into the football, and since we're a little deep into it, I think we're going to do kind of a quick fire on some of the stuff that's happened over the past week. Definitely, Marcus, I'd love to have you stay on for a few more minutes for this because there's a few things I'm sure you're going to want to jump into too. So let's go for it. We've already talked about the kit launch, the AirNet, so we're going to move on from that. We got that well covered. The deal is 5 years, right, Marcus?
What do you respond
to? For the kit deal for Flex, that's like a 5-year hit, right?
Oh yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
A good one. And I did want to direct everybody to go to flexpowertools.com. You're like, what? You're shilling for them? I am, because I believe in them. There's a contest related to that one on that website to maybe win some tools. And they're actually going to do a YouTube showdown between brands. Talk about being confident. So check that out. And I think that's mid-April that they'll do the contest. And then y'all know that they're at Lowe's. So I'll stick to that on Flex. And we'll talk more about them as they go. April 12th is a Flex face-off launch. 5 p.m. Pacific time. Check it out. Postmates are now official with us as well. Is there anything you want to add on that, Marcus, that we should know about?
Pad thai. Yeah.
I'm not big on Postmates. I'll be the first to say that. My sister, on the other hand, is. I'm more of I'd like to go, pick up. That's my vibe. But I can't. We actually did delivery through. I mean, we've been working with them already, so it's just
yeah. No, we've been working with them for a while. I actually used their service tonight to order from a local spot here on 4th called Lola's. Local favorite in Long Beach. I think they're committed to doing great things with us for our community. So I look forward to what we have in store. A lot of fun stuff.
There we go. Yeah. Again, everybody's got to know, even in these rough times, the more sponsors you get, the better chance we get at better players, better everything. So got to keep the lights on. No doubt about that. Preseason matches are kicking off. We've got New England on both April 3rd and April 10th. If you know anything about New England, that was pretty much another turnaround club last year, thanks to Bruce Arena. Personally, the way I see it is they're a good opponent for us to test because they're going to low block us. It's going to be something that we've always had a challenge breaking down. To doing a 2-game set against these guys is probably a wise move. Christine, did you get any coverage on these guys? Any impressions so far about what's going on with New England? I know they recently played a match, right?
Yeah, they lost to Carson 1-0. It sounds like, this is just like hearsay, but it sounds like in the game they played a lot of their young players, both sides. But I feel like they're a good team for us to scrimmage against, essentially. But I don't think they're a threat in either preseason or the actual season. So
agreed. I know they're going to struggle to make the playoffs this year. Honestly, the East got a little bit stronger this year. Teams are improving, and I think they're going to be in a bit of a struggle to even make it in. 1-0 the Galaxy is not something to be impressed by, but it is early preseason, so you can't take too much from that. And Bruce is Bruce. If there's ever going to be a guy that's going to adjust to a situation, he's the one. So yeah, we'll see how that plays. Hopefully we'll get some press in for that one. Get some reports from that match, and we'll cover it, of course, 3rd and 10th. Wow, guys, this weekend, where do you have the guys playing something competitive? So good.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. This is the time to test, right? This is the time to, I don't read too much into preseason generally. I think that could be a bit of a misstep. But I'm just excited to see some of the young guys and what they have to offer. I think we've got some depth this year that we may have.
Yeah. Who to you is really the guy that you really want to see make the breakout this year?
Make the breakout. That's a tough one. I have I have players that I just see as tried and true, and I look forward to seeing them continue to develop. I think about, and it's not even a breakout. He's been such a a foundational, component to our style of play. But I just look forward to seeing, Tuesta back in full form. One of the most exciting players, to watch for me personally. As far as like, young players that I want to see cut their teeth and get some minutes and really just for the sake of our story and our club story, it's got to be some of those academy boys. I look forward to continue to watching that, come to light, and to them to get challenged and really have to step up. So whether that be in, tournament play or whether that be in regular season, I'm still just excited. I've been watching some of those kids. I think of Eric. I've been watching him since the first practice, literally. Where were we? We were in East LA. And 10 years old to stepping out onto the pitch for the first team. It's
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's one of these things most people don't really know, but I've been to a few training sessions, and probably one of the cooler things I saw was Walker. One time I was there, after the practice had ended, he broke away with one of the kids and just did extra training with him. Giving him tips, showing him showing the ropes. And he's not the only one within the squad doing that. And so there was all these isolated trainings that the players would do with their academy kids that, dude,
the opportunities are incredible. The opportunities through our pipeline for these kids is it's really something truly special. And in order to believe that you can do something, you have to be able to see it. So, especially with young guys like Walker, who, really, it was, really proved himself in the league, and built himself up, the way that he did, as someone who, wasn't necessarily like an international prospect. I think to be able to train with guys like that, are super valuable for our kids.
Agreed. And I think having this Vegas relationship, we'll call it that for now. It's a good one. A lot of first team play for guys that normally wouldn't get any for like the duration of a season.
Yeah,
definitely. And Corey Baird, do you think he's gonna have a career year this year?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Corey is gonna bring to the mix. He's obviously has his history, and is a talented player. So we'll see how he fits into the mix, and how we can, how Bob plans on utilizing him. So
I mean, the service he's going to get from this squad is nothing like he's ever experienced.
Exactly.
Before.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be good. And if he struggles, there's always Moose. So
yeah.
Or the kids, right?
I love Moose's confidence. I love the confidence of Moose. I love the confidence of Bryce Duke, actually. I just was thinking about like young guys that like really are just extremely, extremely confident, kind of beyond their years. And I think it takes that to really, especially in a squad as talented as ours, you've got to step out on the pitch and show up.
Agreed. Yeah, there's competition for everything in this squad now. There is no weak spots as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
The only thing that would create a weak spot if somebody ends up getting moved on to a bigger club for, well, how the business works. But otherwise, if this is what we have by playoff time, I feel bullish.
Yeah.
Right? It would be wrong to feel bullish at this point. No.
Yeah.
Casey, this is interesting. So Casey Sosa just paused this up. The Revs actually beat the Gals 4-1 today. So
there you go.
Boom, 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 boom. There you go. And a team that's not known for being entirely explosive, but somewhat effective. That's pretty darn good for the Revs today. Yeah, even in preseason, that's not bad, guys. Perfect. So other things that we were going to talk about today, of course, we know opening day is coming quickly. We're 17th, so we're a couple weeks away now. Really, a couple weeks away from opening day. And it looks like we might have more people than any of us is honestly expected going into this, because it sounds like we're moving into orange. Could be as of like tonight, I guess, as we're recording this. So orange is going to be kicking off. Christine, do you see that? How many do we probably get in an orange tier?
Looks like 33% of capacity, which is just over 7,000.
Yeah, so there's some potential there, right? 7,000. You can really hear some voices, and I know the Dodgers have been really doing a good job of playing kind of the partner with everybody, all the pro sports teams locally, and really pushing the envelope. And I heard of some other plans that they had in effect to even boost it past that. So get your shots, guys. Get your vaccines. Do what you've got to do. We need to get back into our home. The cathedral needs us. So let's do it, guys. I know, Marcus, for you guys, it's pretty much all touch and go right now, and nothing's concrete yet at all. But gotta feel hopeful, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, I think it's out there in front of us. We know, we're just counting. It's hard to know, I was gonna say we're counting the days, but I think we haven't seen this type of momentum towards return in a very long time. And I think what's the date for everyone 16 plus? I think it was April
15th.
April 15th. So state of California, 15 plus, eligible for vaccination. Like that's extremely promising. So
I've heard several sites locally have actually pushed it to that already.
Yeah, I know here in Long Beach, convention center. I mean, they have been absolutely busy. So let's get our shots and get back in that stadium together. So
we're on our way, guys. We got to do it. Christine, you wanted to give some Vegas updates today, right?
So Vegas, the Lights, they have a couple scrimmages coming up. So I heard, it's not confirmed, that they're going to play. They're going to scrimmage against 1904 and Oakland Roots in the next coming weeks. So that'll be interesting. I'm sure nobody's going to be allowed in those games. Maybe I'll try to sneak in a garbage can or something and try to watch the game.
Right.
But otherwise, the first match that they have in the regular season is going to be away versus Galaxy 2. I'm not sure if this is actually going to be in Carson, because it seems like all the preseason games for Galaxy have been in Arizona. So location TBD. But the Lights' first home opener is May 5th versus Tacoma Defiance. So if you guys want to see any of those games, season tickets are only like $200. And I don't know, I love watching live football. I would totally get season tickets if I were you guys. I am a freelance writer, so I have to really think about spending my money on season tickets. But if I were you guys, I think this is money well spent, because you might actually be seeing some future and possibly current LAFC players. So,
without a doubt, yes. And then there's some Olympic news, right?
Yeah. So as I predicted, Honduras and Mexico went to the finals, and pretty exciting game. I didn't actually get to watch the whole thing. Only watched the highlights, but they went all the way to PKs.
Yep.
And Mexico pulled through after Honduras missed their first PK, I believe. So previous to that, Honduras actually knocked out US 2-1, and Mexico knocked out Canada 2-0. So a lot of conversation happening about that, about the next generation. But that is what we're looking forward to in terms of Olympic qualifiers. Mexico and Honduras go on, and
I congratulate both sides for their killer instinct and getting the job done when it actually counts.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could do a whole other podcast.
Yeah,
about
I could take hours on this one, but I think that's where I'm at. I don't even want to bother watching any more friendlies for the United States national team. I really don't, because it's cool, get a result there, but what does that do for us?
Yeah.
With the current leadership in charge, are they really developing these guys when they bring them out? I don't think they are. They do better staying at their clubs at this point. So, am I a supporter of the U.S. national team? Yes. Do I think there needs to be structural change? Yes. Do I think we can get farther without that structural change? I'm having my doubts. So there it is on my side. I'll leave it at that. I know, Marcus, you are a ardent supporter of the U.S. national team as well. It hurts, right?
It hurts. There have definitely been sort of very highs and there's a lot of highs and lows lately. I think we've got so much talent. We've got so much talent in Europe, especially in, say, Bundesliga. How that translates to these guys playing together, I think is we haven't figured out how those connections, like what the right sort of chemistry is. But the talent is there. It just seems like it's a bit raw. And I really don't know what it is. Is it an issue with our leadership, on the pitch? I really don't know. I really don't know what it is. It's just frustrating. It's just like, it's you swap out the players, you get a whole new fresh tier of talent that is playing internationally, that is like stepping up on the national stage, and you think it's our time now. It's our time, and then you just we don't seem to pull it together when it matters the most. And so I don't know exactly what that what's missing in our petri dish, but the science is wrong. So
right, it's not looking like we're heading anywhere in the right direction outside of the talent end.
Individual talent, fantastic. But it's, look, you could say the same thing for the English national team for years and years and years and years. It's you've got a ton of talented players, but what happens when you get these players together? How do they play together? What's the chemistry there? It's I don't know. I mean, with England, I think there's probably something more to be said about sort of the structure and the rigidity of their development program, and the lack of sort of play in their development style. I don't know if you can say copy that or transpose that 1-to-1 for the U.S. national team, but I've always been a firm believer that until we actually start to get these kids to play more, meaning like play without the restriction, and obviously small side is a big part of that development. So I again, that's like big picture, but these types of things that we have to think about when we are consistently disappointed with the results, and we seem to lack the leadership on and off the pitch. So
we should just do an offshoot. Let's do a podcast early next week about the the Olympic qualifiers. There's a lot to talk about. And I know people seem very overwhelmed, like you're expressing right now. But one thing I do want to say is I just want to give credit to the Mexican and Honduran team, because as much as we focus on what went wrong in the U.S., we also have to remember that these teams have very established professional elite systems. And so for the U.S. team to compete with that, they have to have a bit more than just individual talent. And then comes in all the questions about how can we up the ante in terms of our system to be able to really go toe-to-toe with them. And to your point, letting people play, it's also a mentality. And so let's hope that we can go into the future playing more bravely, and with a lot more confidence as professionals.
Maybe developing an American system, but that would be me. There we go. I'm going to move on because this is an LAFC podcast, right? I know we're getting long into it as well, but it was so worth it today with Marcus. I couldn't help myself but let us go long today, right? I did want to bring up the U.S. Open Cup situation, so that we now have legit news on this, that apparently the top 8 as of the first 3 weeks of the season is what they're saying will be the ones that qualify for it. All I'm saying is thank goodness, because if they went on past performances, we didn't have a spot, right? But now we kind of do. It's all on us. If we go strong the first 3 weeks, we're in the show and we can make a good run here. And I don't know about you guys, but the depth that our squad suggests that we should feel bullish about this tournament too if we get in. So, Marcus, what's your take on this new rule from the league?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you put it like that, it is reassuring. I also can't help but be nervous by the prospect of the first 3 games, first 3 weeks of the season playing such an important role in a tournament like Open Cup, which is obviously, a qualifying tournament. And so it's just, that's a lot, so but you're right. We're strong. And we just got to go into confident. So, yeah.
We're basically playing a mini tournament against Austin, Seattle, and Houston, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Get the results.
Totally.
Let's see. And then, of course, this is good, awesome, great news. John and Larry are now official. Take the interim tag off of these gentlemen. They've earned it. They're now officially the co-presidents of the Los Angeles Football Club. Would have been sad to see that not happen. Again, these guys bleed for this club. There's no question. Marcus can tell you that. He knows the hours that they put into this, the days, the devotion.
Yeah.
Day in and day out. Day in and day out. The left and right wing of our front office, and these guys, their conviction, I think, to stay true to our principles and the things that have, developed us thus far is very strong. And, that's one thing that I think is really important to understand is, both of them were in very early. So they understand what it takes to stay true to that. And, I think that's super, super important. We've got an incredible culture, and they're committed to that. So, yeah, it's refreshing.
Agreed. Glory goes to the risk takers, and there's no doubt that they both are.
Yeah, totally.
Perfect. Now, we're getting towards the tail end of the show, looking for reactions and questions. There was one that popped up from Robert Espinoza. Do clubs like LAFC have a better path or blueprint for developing talent for the U.S. men's national team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you had an answer for that.
No, go for it.
Yeah, I don't know if they're one for one transposable. I think developing for a club is very different than developing for a national team. I think the U.S. national team struggles in getting really qualified candidates and really scouring. I think ultimately we've probably lacked the investment as far as scouting is concerned. It's a very large country, and maybe not enough of an investment in getting scouts on the ground. For us, obviously, our market is a lot smaller, so it's a bit different there. But as far as the ethos of committing to a free-to-play model, committing to that element of play that we've talked about, I think there are some takeaways, but it's hard to say that it's entirely transposable.
Yeah, and honestly, I said U.S. men's national team, but our academy kids aren't playing for them, are they? Mexico.
Yeah.
So, again, this is to me a disconnect potentially maybe with U.S. soccer, but I think all 3 of them might end up putting time in with the U.S. youth ranks still. Because of COVID, we're in this situation, but
not capsized yet.
Yeah, I know. I do see a lot of cases where U.S. men's national team kind of drops the ball with young kids and doesn't give them the look-see they deserve, and they end up elsewhere. So, for sure. Yep. And like Antonio says, Mexico. Yeah, Mexico, right? They don't hold back. It's you see talent, you jump at it. You don't hesitate. Yeah. Killer instinct once again. All right. So on that note, we do have a tradition, Marcus, on our show. And I think we're going to call it as it is right now, where we give a final thought. So I'm going to have you lead final thought tonight. And then, Christine, if you're down for it, I'll have you close the final thoughts tonight.
Sure.
There we go. So, Marcus, I'm going to hand it over to you. Give us your final thought of the day.
Final thought of the day. I'm just, this is super refreshing. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I mean, you are now episode 177, you have a history here, with this show, the investment that Jerry, obviously, the foundation that Jerry set, and what you've really, carried the torch. Thank you for committing to our culture, not only committing to who we are now, but who you believe we can be. I think what I see in folks like yourselves is a commitment to, a commitment to committing the effort to continue to develop our culture. This is, a lot of work, what you do. So, just thank you for all that you do. And thank you to the larger community, for everybody that's putting in the work like you all are doing, because like I said, it's we are the sum of all of our efforts. And you have been absolutely committed from day one and continue to show up. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. No doubt. Again, we're blessed to have you on today. And then again, we're lucky. So I'm going to throw my final thought out right away. And first and foremost, thank you for coming on to hit us on short notice, right? In the middle of announcements, in the middle of all kinds of chaos, to say, I'm going to take the time out of my day to have a long-awaited chat with Joe and the gang.
It's refreshing. It was a good
break. We haven't had a chance to have these talks, so to have you here to do it, to get a chance to cut up casually and before the chaos of actual matches kick off. Thank you for doing that. Because again, if somebody I've seen from day one, it's been you, it's been me, it's been Rich, traveling the world together. And now to be at this point where we can talk about a homecoming yet again. So,
let's keep it going.
Rich. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Larry, everybody that's come on. Thank you to all of the listeners as well. You're the reason why we're here. This is why we do this, to be a conduit, to hear you guys out, to read the room, of course. Caesar, Jason, especially Christine coming on tonight, doing this for another late night in the midweek. Y'all know you got work tomorrow. All of us do, to do this again. So again, thank you, everybody. And I'm going to pass this for final thought tonight to Christine.
Gosh, back when I first met you, Marcus, playing that 5-a-side game, I would have never thought that we'd be here having this very cool conversation. I loved hearing about the creative process, and design is all around us, and design factors into how we move and breathe and operate as individuals and in a community. So it was really enlightening and awesome to hear you talk about LAFC's approach to content, because content does absolutely inform how we think about ourselves and how we understand ourselves as people in this community. So thanks for sharing that with us and being generous with your process and just the inner workings of it. And I also want to say, if your daughter ever grows up and you need her a personal trainer, soccer coach, I got you.
Count on it. Yep. Count on it. Noted. This is recorded. Minute. 1:47:32. Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm frankly, I'm an excellent coach, and if you want to take it to the top, awesome. I'm there with you.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and with that, thanks to all our listeners, as always.
And final comment of the night, Christine?
Stay golden.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.